I am here with Junior Achievement, and we're excited to share with you a little information about knowing your work priorities. So my role here at Junior Achievement is to help prepare you all for your academic futures. So today we're going to be examining how your personal priorities impacts the types of jobs that you will choose and the types of jobs that you can succeed in. So your generation is projected to work for a greater number of companies and in a higher number of jobs than any other generation. It's expected that you'll have 3 to 4 times the number of jobs as past generations. So it's really important as you're making all of these important career decisions to know what is the best work environment for you. By work environment, I mean the surroundings in your place of work, which is physical and social condition and other factors that things impact the quality of job experience. So once you've established what your priorities are for your work environment, it's going to anchor all of your planning. It's going to help decide how much education you need and how much training you might need. And you have to think about the type of quality life that you want to have, and your job will impact what it looks like. And employers want you to have a happy experience with your work environment too. It's important to them to keep their employees who are doing well. So then make sure that you're thinking about what your priorities and interests are before you enter the world of work. And your work environment interests are going to change over time. You're not necessarily always going to have the same interests. So if you're planning for your future employment, there's 3 things that you're going to think about. And we're going to focus on the first 2 today. First, what you will be good at doing for a living, which are your skills. So the ways that you relate to people, or the ways that you build things or execute certain tasks. Second is what you will enjoy doing for a living, which is your interests. And then finally, it's what jobs are likely to have openings, or the job outlook. So there are 2 essential tasks that you need to have control over for deciding what your world of work will look like. First, our greatest recommendation is to graduate from high school. That's going to open up the most possible options for you when getting your training and your education. Second is to research, exploring different careers, career opportunities, career and salaries will help you to make these decisions. All right, so we're just going to explore your skills on the career front, and each job is going to require certain knowledge and abilities, which is known as your technical skills. So there's really 2 ways to gain these skills. That's usually either through education or training and experience, or on-the-job learning. Most employers are going to look for your technical skills when they're reviewing your applications for a job. They want to know if you have that specific education experience when they're deciding whether or not to hire you. So what I want to do now is pause this video after I give you this quick description, and I want you to look at the attachment that came with this video. It was there. I want you to look at your career guide. What I want you to do is look at this table provided here. It has different types of education levels, different types of degrees, lifetime earnings, and sample careers. I want to read over this information on the chart and write down 3 observations on your document. That's 3 facts or conclusions you have about the data listed on the chart above. That could be based on facts directly you see on the chart, or it could be a conclusion that you draw as a response to these facts. So go ahead now and pause the video for about 2 minutes to review that and to write down 3 observations. Okay. If you're listening to this now, this is assuming that you have taken your 2 minutes to write down your observations and your facts. So I want to highlight a few things that I would have loved to have seen you add to your observations. One is that the single best predictor of how much income you'll make in your life is your education or amount of training that you've received. There's almost a $1 million difference in lifetime earnings between having a high school degree right here and either a bachelor's degree or some specific job training. So you'll see $2.4 million for a degree and $1.3 million for a high school diploma, which is huge. Now, if you have a specialized program degree, like say advanced training in being an electrician or someone who's gotten an HVAC or the air conditioning unit trainings, those and lifetime earnings can look as much as those bachelors, maybe even more. So something important to think about. Also, there are great careers that don't require a 4-year training, but they do have some kind of training with a certificate program or maybe a 2 years associate's degree. You see here. And those are all great options to consider that you don't necessarily have to do the 4-year degree route. Also, you'll notice that higher education can be expensive. So it's important to think about weighing the costs of doing training and an education to, say, become a doctor versus avoiding that much training. So it might be worth for you. You might be someone who says, I want to be a doctor. That's my life calling. Because I know you're going to be in school for at least 7 more years, plus a residency, plus internships. It's a lot more time that you're putting into your education. So just have to weigh what's important to you. All right. So we're going to go now to talking about our interests. So we're going to go back to the resource you were looking at. And if you scroll down to the second page of your resource, this is a map created by the U.S. Department of Labor that highlights all of different what we call career clusters. Now, a career cluster is a group of jobs or industries that have other skills. So within all of these 16 different options, we have dozens of different career pathways and thousands of jobs. So, for example, the agriculture, food, and natural resources cluster is unique because all of the jobs have something to do with agriculture or animal products. So like a farmer, a forester, water quality manager, all deal with different things, but they group together because of the overarching theme in the group. So spending time exploring the different clusters opens up what your different possible opportunities are as you're thinking about what you're actually interested in doing. So what I want to do is 3 minutes to read the summaries of these different career clusters. And I want you to think about what is the 1 or 2 or 3 that you're the most interested in doing further research about. So reflect on that. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes. So starting now, pause the video, and I want you to decide which of these job positions might be most interesting to you. Go. If you're watching right now, this means you have paused the video for 3 minutes and thought about what different jobs are in. For me, for example, I fit into, I'd probably say I'd fit into human services because my job is focused on education, because I'm focused on all kinds of education and training services. What I want you to do as well, once you figure out what are you most interested in, you should go to www at the bottom, bls.gov, and that's where you can research specific questions. All right. So let's say that you weren't really sure what your skills and your interests are. What you can do is actually take a quick assessment to figure out what those are. So we're going to do now. What I want you to do is in your internet search, I want you to type in the exact address. You're going to go to https://mynextmove.org/explore/IP. If you already have that website, go ahead and enter in the information now. I'll give you about 10 seconds. Okay, so the website. This brings you to an intro profiler. So what this does is it's a way for you to relate what your interests are to the world of work, to find what you might like to do. So we're going to click the next button at the bottom. You'll always click that button, and you can do the button if you ever want to go read and start searching answers. So go click next. And it's going to have 6 different questions about activities that people like to do. It says 60 questions, but don't be overwhelmed. It'll take no more than 15 minutes. With each question, you're going to think if you strongly like it, if you dislike it, if you're unsure, if you like it, or you really like it. Okay. It wants you to try not to think about if you have enough education or training to do the work. So this isn't saying you can do all of these skills or tasks right now. Could you maybe one day with some training be able to do it? And don't think of how much money you would make doing the work right now. Yes, we've talked about how your earnings are to think about, but just answer the questions based on your interests now, and you can evaluate your potential down the road. All right, so again, there's no wrong answers. Just take your time and answer. There's 5 screen questions in all. All right. What I have to do now is go ahead and get started answering those questions. And I'll be curious to find out what you all got as some of your responses. Go ahead and now pause the video, finish answering, and then we will come back together. All right, if you are watching this now, this means that you have finished your work profile. If not, pause this right now, finish the link that's on the slide right now, and if you're going. Okay, so to review, there are different jobs that exist, and we all have different requirements. So it's important to research those various jobs to understand what's necessary to be successful in each of them. I want you to visit the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, that's bls.gov, learn more about all of those career clusters that are on your guide, and make sure you look more into the job that you got on your profiler. Thanks so much for joining us, and have you take part in another junior achievement lesson soon. Bye.